What's up, folks? Welcome back to Everything Sport 3K. So I love this time of the year in the NFL because that's when teams start to sign a player. That's when we see what teams are trying to do for the next season. So we got a bunch of deals going on right now in the NFL. We got a bunch of rumors. The free agency period is going to start on Wednesday, but teams already they made their moves. So what we know so far, we know that Eric Weddle is a new LA Rams player. He is still a Pro Bowl caliber safety. In my opinion, has a great acquisition for the Rams after losing LaMarcus Joyner. Then we have Malik Jackson going to the Eagles. So that will be a perfect addition for a great defensive line next to Fletcher Cox. We have the Bills that are about to sign Kevin Johnson with a former first round draft pick from the Texans. He is a cornerback that has never shown his true potential. In my opinion, the Bills already have a good secondary, so Kevin Johnson could be a great addition for them if he finally steps up. Then we have a couple of teams resigning their former players. We got D Ford back with the Chiefs. We got Jason Peters back with the Eagles. We got the Rams signing Dante Flower Jr. again for 1 year. Then we had, besides Antonio Brown trade, which I made a video on that trade, we had another trade involving the Raiders, and they're shipping left guard Osemele to the Jets. Then we have Trent Brown that's signing a huge contract with the Raiders, 4 years, a $66 million contract with almost $37 million guaranteed. That's a great addition for the Raiders for that offensive line. The Raiders are making moves. It's a completely turnaround for that team. Now Derek Carr really doesn't have any more excuses, and I don't think the Raiders are done making moves on offense. And then we have latest news, and the big news so far is Kwon Alexander joining the 49ers, 4 years, $54 million contract. That's huge. That's huge for a guy that has really lots of talent but has never been able to play a full season. He's always been hurt. I think that the 49ers are a bit overpaying him for this trade. I don't like it. I think he's still a great player. I think he was one of the best linebackers available in this free agency. But I think that 49ers are a bit overpaying, even though the 49ers defense starts, in my opinion, to become scary right now. If they can fix the offense, if they can give Garoppolo a couple more weapons, I think the 49ers can actually be a contender for their division. So, in my opinion, the 49ers are doing the right thing in bringing this type of caliber of player that can have a big impact on their team. But I think they're a little bit paying over too much. I will give them a C plus for this trade. I just don't like the money part. So that's all I have. I also have a Daniel Amendola that's going to the Detroit Lions. A veteran guy going to the Detroit Lions who have Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay as the wide receiver. So Daniel Amendola is gonna replace practically Golden Tate. That's a good addition in my opinion for the Detroit Lions. Unfortunately, Daniel Amendola has been always kind of hurt, but he's a veteran guy, so that will solidify that locker room. So let's go with the major rumors going on. Let's start from probably the most hyped player for this offseason, which is Le'Veon Bell. So in my previous video, I was sponsoring the Chiefs to go after Bell, but they just signed Carlos Hyde, so I think they want to stick with Damien Williams. So from this point on, I think that Le'Veon Bell, he wants to get paid, so I think there are only a few teams that can afford Le'Veon Bell. In my opinion, the Raiders, the Jets are probably the most indicative team that can sign Le'Veon Bell. So I think we'll be one of those two teams that is going to sign Le'Veon Bell. Also, the Eagles, they looked like they were interested, but the Eagles don't like to sign Le'Veon Bell for the amount of money that he's asking. In fact, Le'Veon Bell is asking about $17.5 million a year. The Eagles were linked with Tevin Coleman this weekend, and Tevin Coleman they asked for $7.5 million a year, and the Eagles were kinda suspicious. So the Eagles, they're not trying to bring in a top running back and paying this running back top money. So I think that Tevin Coleman makes more sense for the Eagles rather than Le'Veon Bell. So at this point, I think it will be the Raiders or the Jets. Those are the two teams that need major upgrades for their offense and that have the most cap. Besides that, I have Coleman linked with the Eagles, and then I have Mark Ingram, major breaking news, possibly going to the Packers. I don't have any details on that, but I've spoken with some sources close to the Packers locker room and Packers environment, and they're saying that Mark Ingram could be a guy that will interest the Packers. Then besides that, I feel like those are the three major running backs going in the market. Also, Adrian Peterson may go back with the Redskins. I think he still deserves another chance. I think Adrian Peterson still has something left in his tank, and it would be nice to see him back for one more year. Going to the wide receivers, that's interesting because there are no really major news yet on any of those guys. But I know for sure that the Browns are going to pursue one of those guys, and Tyrell Williams is their number one target. So Browns, Williams may be happening. Golden Tate, teams, people are saying Patriots because it's a perfect profile, but also pay attention, the Steelers may need a guy like Golden Tate because they need to add one more wide receivers after letting Antonio Brown go. I think that James Washington next year will have a bigger role, but they still need one more wide receiver. So I think John Brown and Golden Tate are the two guys that are most interested. Then Humphries is officially a free agent. Beasley wants to go back to the Dallas Cowboys, but he's asking for too much money, and the Cowboys, they don't want to pay a lot this offseason. Like they already said this before, we're not overpaying player. With that being said, then we have Jameson Crowder. For me, is probably one of the best low-key players in this offseason. No major news about him with any teams, but pay attention because he may go to a team like the Patriots or the Steelers as well. Then quarterback Nick Foles is getting closer and closer to sign with the Jaguars. Teddy Bridgewater, Miami Dolphins may be interested, but then Teddy Bridgewater is not going to get signed the first day on free agency. He's probably like a day two kind of a player. And then that's all we have so far as far as offense, because Trent Brown, which was the biggest name as far as offensive lineman available, is going with the Raiders. And then tight end we have Jerry Cooked available, but no rumors yet. I think the end will get signed day two. Now let's go to the most interesting part, in my opinion, besides Le'Veon Bell, which is the defense. So we got a bunch of names available in the market. Some of them they already got signed, like Eric Weddle, Kwon Alexander, but Malik Jackson went to the Eagles. So CJ Mosley, the Ravens, they're going to try to get him back, but be aware because latest news, the Redskins may be interested in CJ Mosley. The Redskins are making a bunch of low-key moves on defense, especially on the linebackers group. They're trying to elevate their cap to sign CJ Mosley. So let's pay attention on that. Also, the Colts may be interested in CJ Mosley. Also, sticking with the Colts, the guy that is most linked with the Colts is Landon Collins. There was a video early on with Landon Collins said, "Go Packers." I think that's like Le'Veon Bell that trained with Chris Jones and said, "Oh, I would love to go to the Chiefs," but it's not happening. I don't think it's happening for Landon Collins going to the Packers. I think the Colts will be the perfect landing spot for Landon Collins. Safeties, Earl Thomas wants 2 years, $30 million contract. Teams are skeptical about him, about this contract, concerning the age and injuries. Two major team right now most interested is the 49ers, but after signing Alexander, I don't know if the 49ers will make a move also for Earl Thomas. There is still talk between the Cowboys and Earl Thomas, but the Cowboys, as said before, they don't want to spend a lot in this free agency. So Thomas will go to the Cowboys only if he will reduce his request. But I don't think Thomas will reduce his request, so I think he will get paid. The Chargers were early on, they were linked with Eric Weddle. They made actually an inquiry for Eric Weddle, and now there are surprise candidates for Earl Thomas. We know that Gus Bradley is been the founder of the Legion of Boom, so there is a nice connection between Earl Thomas and Gus Bradley. So we'll see what happens, but it will be a major name on Wednesday to look for. Then we got Amos, Clinton Dix, LaMarcus Joyner. There are teams that need safety. There are a bunch of safety there. I think the Cowboys will end up with LaMarcus Joyner. That's my personal thought. I think he's a fine player. I don't think you gotta pay a lot for him. Then we got defensive end, defensive tackle. I think the Chiefs are still actively looking to trade D Ford. D Ford may be an interest option for the Patriots. Cornerback, a low-key player to look at is Darby. There is no really much talking right now with Darby, Verrett, some guys that are free agent, but they will be great acquisition for their teams. So that's all I have right now so far in free agency. CJ Mosley, Redskins, who knows? Bell, Raiders or Jets. Earl Thomas wants to get paid, wants money. The Cowboys don't want to spend lots of money. Landon Collins, probably the Colts. Tyrell Williams with the Browns. Steelers may look for a wide receiver. Golden Tate, Crowder, John Brown will be a great option for them. Thank you guys for watching this video. One more video on free agency will come out on Wednesday when actually we know more about those signings and where Le'Veon Bell will finally go. Subscribe if you like this video. Subscribe guys, and I'll see you next time. From Everything Sport, Ricky. Enjoy your day.